He's a head football coach at the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. PJ Fleck. Coach, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having us on, Ryan. Appreciate it a lot.
You bet. So why has it taken everybody so long to be as smart as me and have you guys in the top 25?
That's for all of you to decide. We've kind of rallied around you. You don't know this, but you're a staple in our program in terms of you picking us, and we showed our team that in training camp, and we appreciate that. But we've kind of rallied around you as maybe the only person that ever would pick us to have some success. But I'm just really proud of our progress we're making just on each and every day, off the field and on the field with this football team.
You know, Chris Brockman here in the studio asked me, where the row the boat mantra came from. Can you explain to everybody out there who doesn't know about it, what that means to you, your program, and to Gopher Nation?
Yeah, I mean, it's our cultural saying, right? I mean, you hear all these things around college football and the traditional sayings, which you go to big places for tradition. Sky Uma, which is here, fight on, go Irish, things like that. But row the boat is really a never give up attitude. It's our never give up culture inside our program. February 9th, 2011, I lost my second son to a heart condition and decided at that point, if I ever become a head football coach, we're going to find a way to be able to live a life of serving and giving within our program. And we're going to teach young people how to be able to be their best academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually. Never give up. Bring people inside our program, have everybody rowing in the same direction, same speed, same efficiency, for the same vision. There's three parts. There's an oar, a boat, and a compass, and they all mean certain things. The oar is the energy, the boat's the sacrifice, and the oar is the boat is the sacrifice, the oar is the energy, and the compass is the direction of your life. And if you put all those things together, you can do some special things. So it's a never give up mantra inside our program. It's something we rally behind academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually. And I'm proud of our players for doing what they do.
Coach, just really sorry for your loss, but amazing what you're able to do teaching young men. I compliment you great there. Those young kids you have on that football team right now, I look at as a couple three-headed monsters, especially offensively at the running back position and at the wide receiver position, led by Morgan at the quarterback. Talk to us about the offensive production and what those three-headed monsters have meant to your football team.
Well, it's meant balance. Last year we were the youngest team in America, and, still 80% of our team is still only freshmen and sophomores. They're working really hard. And when you have a good ground game in the Big Ten, I think you can have some success. I mean, when you look at Wisconsin right now, that's all. They are running the ball, and they're having a ton of success and ranked really high and have consistency. But in the Big Ten, I think it's all about balance. And not only that, I think you have to have, as Coach Mason at the University of Minnesota said a long time ago, that you need to have a pair and a spare in the Big Ten to have success. And we feel like we have three guys that are all equally as talented, just do things differently. With Mohamed Ibrahim, Rodney Smith, and Shannon Brooks. We have some young guys behind them that are very good, too. We don't have a senior up front on our offensive line. We're still really young there, but we've added some size. We've got guys playing at a very young age, but they're playing really well congruently, playing well together. And then our tight ends are doing really well. And then to help the run game, our pass game, we have three wideouts that I think can hurt anybody in the country that we play. And our quarterback is just a winner. He just finds ways to win. He's a great leader. And when you kind of have that formula, it all works somehow, some way, as long as you keep changing your best.
Yeah, talk about the explosive nature of the last three games, because the first three against what people would consider underwhelming opponents, but very good teams in Fresno State on the road, then to come out in Big Ten play and just kind of explode at Purdue, beat an Illinois team like crazy, and then to take on a team at home in Nebraska who everybody thought was going to be much better than they were, but for you guys to show up in a defensive fashion, I think says a lot about what you have ahead of you, in particular those final four games.
Well, yeah, we just want to be better today than we were yesterday. I know it's cliche and it's coach speak, but it's true. And that's all that we continue to focus on. Just one game championship seasons every single week. Our non-conference, combined record last year was 32-8. And we knew it'd be very difficult. There were a lot of new coordinators, a lot of new people that we didn't know a lot about. At the beginning of the season, you're learning what type of team you have. The team's learning what type of team they are. Just because you're one thing one last year doesn't mean you're the same thing this year. And there's a lot of close games at the beginning of the season for a lot of teams, especially Group of Five, the Power Five. We used to be one of those Group of Five teams when I was at Western Michigan that couldn't wait to play the Power Five teams. And, we played, an FCS. Some picked them to win a national championship at FCS. And then we played Georgia Southern as well, which runs a triple option, which takes a lot of your detail away from your own defense. You got to implement a triple option type defense. And then Fresno State, who ended the season last year in the top 15. So, we had a tough non-conference schedule, which I know a lot of people don't give it credit for, but they're very, very talented and beat a lot of Power 5 teams in the past. And then we opened up with Big Ten play, and we're just getting better in terms of the small things, the details, the fundamentals, and looking to be 1-0 every single week. And our players have stuck to it.
Yeah, they certainly have. You're listening to head coach for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, PJ Fleck. I'm Ryan Leaf, filling in for Rich Eisen here on the Rich Eisen Show. I want to get into those Final Four games. And I know you only talk about today, and you got Rutgers and then Maryland, but those Final Four games, Penn State at home, which I think is huge, then on the road at Iowa, home against Northwestern, and then to finish the year in possibly what could be a Big Ten West title matchup. Talk to us about those Final Four games and what you guys are going to have to do to get better over the next couple weeks to be ready for that gauntlet of opponents.
Yeah, you're going to hate my answer. I mean, I think every single week in the Big Ten for our players, we treat it as a championship season, and it doesn't matter who we play. We have to find a way to be better than we were the week before, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on, Ryan. I mean, this team is incredibly focused. They're incredibly mature for how young they are, and they have stayed focused the entire year on the goals at hand, on the field and off the field. I mean, this team has 85 players above a 3.0 GPA. We only have 2 players below a 2.5. We don't have anybody on academic probation or any academic watch lists. These guys are taking their entire life very serious, and they take every day of preparation serious. And we know that we have 6 weeks left of the season, but nothing's more important than the game that we're going to play this week.
Coach, I sit in on the college football playoff mock committee recently, and from a coach's standpoint and the idea of expansion and things like that in terms of the college football playoff, what is your takeaway in terms of that? Do you believe that there's more needed than just 4 teams, or do you think that right now it's the best we got and it really emphasizes you being elite and playing the best you possibly can throughout the year?
Yeah, I think it leaves it up for judgment for sure, based on the people that are in the room. I think change is inevitable. I think somehow, some way, college football, it's what makes college football so exciting is the evolution of our game. I think that, like I said, change is inevitable. At some point, it will probably expand. But right now, it's the best as it is because it's the best formula that we have, because it's the formula we have right now. But as we continue to go, and the Group of 5 conferences that are getting the attention that they're getting, even look at the Mountain West, the amount of success they've had against Power 5 teams this year, the AAC. There's so many really good Group of 5 conferences. And, I came from the Group of 5, and, we had a team that was undefeated, and we never had a chance to even play for a national championship. And it would have been interesting just to see what we would have been able to do in some type of playoff format when I was at Western Michigan. But I still think we're a little bit of ways from that happening, but I think it's inevitable. I think the way that college football is moving, whether that's pay for play or whether that's expansion and college football playoff, I think we're headed that way somehow, some way. But as long as it's good for the student athletes, I support it. We're playing at times when you're talking about 12 games, and then you're talking about a 13th conference championship game, and then you're talking about playoff games, and you're starting to get into almost an NFL-type schedule. And these are still young people. These are still 17 to 22-year-old non-professionals as of today. And, they have classes. They've got class conflicts. They've got all types of things. So as long as it continues to benefit the student-athlete, I'm for it.
Speaking of that student-athlete, California governor has just passed a law into compensating players for their likenesses and image. And I was wondering what your thought process on that is. If one state takes it into consideration, the NCAA has said right now that they're not going to abide by it. What's your takeaway as a head coach talking about these student athletes and what's best for them?
I'm all for the the experience of a student athlete, and I'm all for the evolution of the college football experience, whatever that looks like, however that happens. I know at the University of Minnesota, what we're going to do is, one, we're always going to provide an elite experience for our student athletes on and off the field. That is the main focus of Mark Coyle, our president Gable, our athletic director Mark Coyle, and everybody else. That is the main focus of our football team, to provide that elite experience no matter what. And then what we'll do is we'll lean on the Big Ten, the NCAA, and be right along with their guidance of this whole situation, because there's so many aspects that come into, when you're talking about the pay for play that people need to be able to look at. You're talking about a professionalism. You're talking about the amateurism. You're talking about Title IX. You're talking about all these aspects of it that, if we're going to go down that route, and we're going to go down it, there's a lot of other things that have to happen for that to happen as well. But again, I'm all for the evolution of college football and the student-athlete experience. Speaking as the head football coach at the University of Minnesota, I know that we will provide the most elite experience we possibly can for student-athletes and follow the Big Ten and NCAA's guidance of how they handle the situation.
Well, you've certainly done that in your first 2.5 years so far. Continue success this season. I will be, of course, watching, hoping for the best. I'm excited to see those Final Four games, but I understand you have the next couple of weeks coming up. So good luck. Tell your team that as well. Thanks for joining us. Head coach of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, PJ Fleck.
Ryan, I appreciate it. Roosevelt, Scotty Moss, go Gophers. Thanks.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.